Bernie Sanders was asked about the Clinton Foundation on Meet the Press. Let's see what he had to say.
Let me play for you perhaps one of the more famous sound bites from your primary campaign. Here it is.
The American people are sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails.
Thank you. Me too. Me too.
Well, Senator Sanders, that happened almost a year ago. That was an October 2015 debate. Here we are in September of 2016. You may not care about him, but a lot of people do. Do you have any advice for Hillary Clinton on how she should handle this? Could she handle it better? You've struggled with the foundation. You've thought the foundation was problematic. Do you think she should shut the foundation down?
Chuck, you know what the latter part of my statement, which doesn't get recorded very much, is what the American people want to hear about are the real issues impacting their lives, why the middle class is declining, income and wealth inequality, why we are the only major country not to guarantee health care to all people. That's what I believed then. That's what I believe now. Chuck, every other major country on earth, 50 miles away from where I am right now in Burlington, Vermont, guarantees health care to all people as a right. The top 1/10 of 1% now owns as much wealth as the bottom 90%. Those are the issues I believe we need to focus on. Politicians and the media. Let the American people get involved in that debate. And I think at the end of that discussion, people will see Clinton as the superior candidate.
I understand that, but you can't govern if you don't have trust. So can she rebuild trust by pledging something to do that? Is it shutting down the foundation? What would you tell her to do?
Well, I would certainly suggest that as President of the United States, she should cease all operations, all contact with the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah. It appeared like at the beginning he was trying to dodge the question, which may be a first for Bernie Sanders. He's known as being like the most direct person as a politician. They ask him a question and he'll just answer that question. He very rarely does the old standard politician move, which is, I'm going to pivot this way slightly and I'll answer the thing that I wish you asked me. So, Chuck Todd plays the clip about I'm sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails, and then he brings up, what advice would you give her about the Clinton Foundation? What would you do with the Clinton Foundation? He's like, Chuck, let me tell you about universal health care and income inequality and all these different problems. There, Bernster. I asked you about the Clinton Foundation, and I asked you about what you would do with it. And then at the end, he finally says, I would do that. By the way, Chuck Todd goes on to ask him, would you shut the foundation down, or would you just say she should have no contact with it? And then he says, at the very least, she should have no contact with it and cease all, things involving the Clinton Foundation. And here's the main point. I've made this point in the context of responding to bobblehead news anchors who don't know anything, where, they'll bring up how, well, I don't, emails, Clinton Foundation, I don't understand. This isn't based on policies. Wait. No, but it is based on policies when the whole issue is the Clinton Foundation is pay to play. The Clinton Foundation is corruption and legalized bribery. Because then what that shows is you're not spending time representing your constituents, which is your goddamn job. You're spending time doing favors for the donors to the foundation. That's the issue. There's been, these tweets are so insufferable, of these Clinton apologists, these over-the-top Hillary supporters, who say stuff like, congratulations if you're white enough to still care about, a foundation that helps kids with AIDS this morning. This was after Donald Trump's immigration speech. So in other words, it's like, anybody who cares about the Clinton Foundation, it's all like white male privilege and, how dare you focus on that when it helps kids with AIDS when Donald Trump is obviously a fascist and he's a terrible guy. Okay, wait a second, but that's a total straw man of what the real concern about the Clinton Foundation is. Nobody denies that they do some good around the world. Every critic of the Clinton Foundation says, yeah, they do some good around the world. But the issue is, if you have the fucking government of Saudi Arabia giving them hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, you have all these individual wealthy donors giving them millions of dollars, you think President Hillary Clinton would take a phone call from them and do a few favors when she's in office? It's not even conjecture. We know she did it. Look at what happened with Saudi Arabia. There was a stalled weapons deal when she was at the State Department, and then Bill Clinton goes and gives some speeches. They pay a couple $100,000. Boom, would you look at that? All of the stalled weapons in the weapons deal, all of a sudden Saudi Arabia gets approved, and it goes to Saudi Arabia. Look at that. Wow. I'm sure it's a total coincidence. And that's just one example. There are other examples of this, too. Of, Hillary Clinton effectively flipping a position, and if you follow the money, you go, oh, so she's just doing the bidding of her donors. Putting the Clinton Foundation aside, the bankruptcy bill is another good example. A bill that biased bankruptcy laws in favor of corporations. She was against it when she wasn't a politician, when she was First Lady, and then eventually, when she became the senator from New York, she flipped and she was for it. Why? In the meantime, she took money from those corporations who were in favor of that bankruptcy bill. Single payer, another thing. I mean, she was in favor of a single payer healthcare system. Then when she runs and becomes a politician in her own right, all of a sudden she's against it. Why is she against it? She took so much money from the health industry. Guys, don't be naive and don't be silly and don't be stupid. But that's what's I feel like people are deflecting more than anything else. Obviously, Bernie Sanders is a lesser offender here because when push came to shove and Chuck Todd pushed him just a little bit, he was like, yes, she should stop. With the foundation at the very least. If anything, she might even, maybe even shutting it down is a better move. But so many people have just been deflecting from this issue as if there's nothing there. No, I mean, how can it possibly be that if you speak to Democratic loyalists any other time, go back 3 years, 4 years, whenever you want, and you talk to them about, hey man, the Republicans are taking a lot of money from ExxonMobil, and they all pretend like climate change isn't real. Do you think there's an issue there? Do you think there's a conflict of interest? Do you think they're doing the bidding of their donors? They'd laugh in your face and they'd say, where's the question? Obviously, they take money from Chevron and BP and ExxonMobil and wow, they say climate change is fake. Obviously, they're doing the bidding of their donors. What do you mean? Talk to Democrats about Republicans taking Wall Street money. They'll tell you, yeah, that's why they wanted deregulation. Lets those guys get rich in the short run, puts the economy at risk in the long run. Yeah, of course they're doing the bidding. But somehow when it comes to Hillary, she's magically above it. Even though she has super PACs, even though she has obviously money just for her campaign, even though she has the Clinton Foundation, even though she goes around and gives speeches to Wall Street and Goldman Sachs when she wasn't Secretary of State and she didn't have a position in the government. And she was like, okay, I'll take $600,000 here, $200,000 here, put it in my pocket. But somehow she's above it. No, when she takes money, it's totally cool. No, it's not cool. It's not cool when any of them do it. It is a system of legalized bribery, and people need to stop trying to deflect. Here's the only acceptable answer when it comes to the Clinton Foundation. Not only should she shut it down right now, she should have shut it down from when she knew she was going to be in any elected position. Because, yes, there is a conflict of interest. Now, everybody's so concerned, oh, my God, but the charity angle of it, oh, my God. Okay, are you really stupid enough to think there aren't other charities that deal with these things? I love the idea of these massively wealthy CEOs and owners and donors, billionaires, I really want to give to charity. I'm definitely going to go through Hillary Clinton, but don't worry, I'm not doing it because I want favors from Hillary Clinton. Is anybody buying this? No, if they really just cared about the charity of it, they would have given to a charity where there's not even a question about pay to play because it's not tied to elected officials. Duh! So, yeah, you can have charity and you should do charity and you should do it other ways. No, the Clinton Foundation sets up an obvious conflict of interest. I mean, if the fucking Clinton Foundation was the Romney Foundation, during the last election, Democrats would have never shut the fuck up about it with how corrupt it is and how it's pay to play. But when it's their queen, please shh. And again, Bernie was a little evasive there, but in typical Bernie Sanders fashion, he's still better than other Democrats, Democratic establishment loyalists, I should say. And that when push came to shove, he was like, yeah, of course he should shut it down. Who are we kidding? There are some Democrats who would never admit that. To be like, no! Helps AIDS patients! There's nothing to see here! No, there is something to see here. There clearly is something to see here.